All right. Welcome everybody to the very first Hive Live. I'm Brian Costello. This is Marcos Navas. We're here to talk to you about Princeton Hive, coding, and VR. Share some knowledge, have some fun, give you a chance to share your ideas, questions, anything like that, and also give you a chance to check out some interesting things happening at Princeton Hive. So, Marcos, welcome. I'm really excited to get this kicked off and roll this thing in because I'm really excited to be able to launch this live content with you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Marcos. Introduce yourself to the crowd and tell us what's going on with you.
Thank you, Brian. Again, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Princeton Hive K-12 live stream. Thank you, Brian, for the introductions. You know, eventually, I think we're gonna have intro segments and everything flying off here. But this is our very first show, and we're super excited to have launched our first show. It really is one of many that's coming down the line. My name is Marcos Navas. I'm actually an educator here in northern New Jersey. I'm a technology facilitator, and I do a lot outside of my district. I also am the creator and founder of Hands-On Coding Blocks. I'm also a TED Ed innovative educator and also a IDEO Teachers Guild design think expert. So and happy to be part of the Princeton Hive team, and more importantly leading the coding hive and helping out with the design hive. And there is a lot in store that we have for the world, really. And these little live segments is really to give you guys a peek about what we're doing and trying to show you 21st century skills at its best.
Excellent, that Marcus, love it. I'm so excited. Like I said, we've been working on this for a while. We're ready to start sharing things with the world. We have so much amazing content, but regardless of whether we have content available on the site, we want to share some great things with you all for free. Get you excited about learning these amazing skills. So Marcos is an incredible asset to our team, both as a design thinking expert and a coding expert, and an entrepreneur himself. So thrilled to have you talking to us tonight, Marcos, and we're going to share some more things about what Marcos knows about coding later on in the show. My name is Brian Costello. I am working with our XR, which is augmented and virtual reality, mixed reality, basically anything that extends reality beyond what you can see. So, we're going to talk a little bit about that. I've been working with this for the past 7 years, teaching it to adults, to kids, at various levels, so beginner to up through some advanced stuff. And we're excited to just showcase some different things. And today, I'm not going to get into too many skills pieces. I'm really going to talk to you about some high interest content, which is, how does VR work in some of the most basic senses? And how do you differentiate between some of the devices that are out there if you're taking a look at VR? So first up, we're going to have Marcos talk to us a little bit about coding and about the value of coding and what we can do with it. And then I'm going to jump in and tell you a little bit about VR.
And I just got to say, man, I'm super excited about that VR AR Hive. And I think I told you that since day one, man. That VR AR is the future. I really see the world just pouring itself into this on all different levels, so it's important to start getting people accustomed to the vocab and to the foundation of AR VR. So dude, that's going to be an amazing hive. As far as the coding hive is concerned, and I do have a little bit of background in the coding world. I'm actually part of the first Raspberry Pi certified educators here in the United States. We were part of that first class. I forgot when this was. It was a couple of years back. But that really introduced me to the world of coding. It was at Raspberry Pi that I got the idea for hands-on coding. And my life has really been turned upside down because of this coding world. And just to show you the relevancy behind Princeton Hive, we're all about 21st century skills. And right now we're talking coding hive and we're talking AR, VR hive. A lot of intermingling between those two. Obviously, coding plays a big role in VR, AR as well. But as far as coding is concerned, I'm sure we've been hearing that word everywhere, especially if you're a K-12 teacher. You've been hearing that word coding, mostly in part because of code.org. But in a nutshell, what is coding? It is a small little part of a bigger topic, which is computer science. Coding is just a minute little portion of this world of computer science. And for me, I always break this world into three parts. I break it into computer science, I break it into the computational thinking side of things, and I always go back to the coding because that's really where the teachers can make a strong connection with. In a nutshell, coding is very simple. It is the language of robots. It is the language of computers. It is the way for us to communicate with these machines that help us with our day-to-day life. Just think about from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, how many times are you in front of a machine? Are you in front of some type of digital equipment? Are you in front of a robot possibly? How many times are you in front of a smartphone using maybe some of those features on it? All of that is powered behind the world of coding. Someone had to create some type of code behind that somewhere along the line to make it work. And that world is only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Just as recent last night, President Biden was on the news giving a speech to the country, and he's talking about how technology is moving at an all-time rapid pace. I think he says in the next 5 years will equal almost the past 20 years as how fast things are moving. And I have to tell you, a lot of that movement, a lot of the reason that is movement is because we have developers, we have coders that are making this world move. So coding, super important. Talk about a 21st century skill, 21st century language that can really, really help you out in the future.
Yeah, I mean it's something that I've seen more and more incorporated. I mean, even in the last 7 or 8 years, even
Yep.
coding has become a thing that we start incorporating in the K-12 industry from down in the kindergarten.
Yep.
I mean, little guys are coding. There's stuff that's trying to get kids coding at the youngest age, and they talk about that 5, 10, 15 years. I mean, it's now. I mean, so many things need coding to run, and like you said, it's just a small part of computer science, but it's such a valuable part where we can really, we can really get into and dig into how things work in the 21st century because so many things revolve around it. So yeah, and Marcos, you've had some experience in making some things work. So just maybe talk about some of the more exciting projects that you or your friend or some of the kids you worked with have done through making code and using code.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the one of the more exciting things that we've used with code is actually in the world of app making. So in my local area, I've put together the first hackathon in my county, and the idea of kids, not only this is their world, this world of apps. I mean, they were born with it. They're using it on a daily. It's part of their lives. So a lot of them, are constant consumers of this world. And when you switch that button around and you say, let's switch that mindset and let's think about being a developer or a creator of an app. I always love seeing kids come up with some amazing idea for apps. At that hackathon, we actually had some girls come up with I think it was called the Hissing app or something like that. They wanted to protect girls from being or women from being sexually harassed and things like that. So the thinking is there, and they understand that the app and obviously the coding that's needed behind that app is a necessary skill and tool for these ideas to happen. So and we brought a lot of that over to the Princeton Hive. So our coding Hiveathon is just that. It's app design for a specific reason. So I always found that was an amazing one.
I love that. And apps really do. I mean, apps are driving the world right now. The app market is massive. And whether your app is free or paid, doesn't really matter. That market there is huge. And, with the rise of everything mobile, I mean, apps are everywhere. So I think that's so great. And I love the way that you've got kids thinking about bigger issues, right? Social issues, not just, hey, can I make a video game? But more importantly, hey, can I come up with a solution to a problem, which is what coding really is all about, right? I mean, even the problem of, hey, I'm bored, let me make something to entertain myself. Yeah, that's a solution to a problem. But you've got kids thinking about big issues, and that's awesome.
And you know what? And the same happens with your Hive in VR AR. Thinking of not just what they're used to as far as some of these apps that are using that feature, but again, changing that to how about we create some VR AR. So why don't you talk about some of that VR AR world? I think one of the questions you wanted to shine light on is what is a DOF. So why don't we start with that?
Yeah. The VR world especially is so specifically this is to virtual reality, and I wanted to talk about some of those language pieces and the VR world because with the push out of the Oculus Quest and the Quest 2 this year, VR has really exploded in the consumer market, which has been amazing. And there's some incredible use cases, especially in terms of social emotional quality. And I see new use cases all the time. But one of the things that people talk about when they talk about these headsets is 6 DOF, 3 DOF. Sometimes you see the difference between like your phone-based VR and your headsets VR and different types of things. And so degrees of freedom is what your DOF really means. And I'm gonna the image is a little bit small, but I'm gonna try and share that image with you guys on the screen. See if I can put it up there for everybody. But degrees of freedom is it's the kind of thing that here we go. So there's traditionally your 3 degrees of freedom when you use like a phone-based VR, which is pitching, like looking up and down, yawing, turning left and right, and then rolling side to side like this. So if you're using a cell phone device for VR, or even a basic headset, something like that's maybe not supported anymore, like an Oculus Go, they have 3 degrees of freedom, which basically means you can't move around the environment. You can only move your head. The second level of that, and that's what most of these headsets have turned to now, and it's what the wire-based headsets have had for a long time, is this 6 degrees of freedom, which allow you to elevate, moving up and down, strafe side to side, and surge forward and backward, meaning you can fully immerse yourself in the environment. You can go all over the place and really see, really experience a truly immersive space. And what is really incredible about what Facebook and Oculus have put together, there's some downsides to it, that we can talk about eventually. But some of the really, really amazing stuff is that they've put together a device that doesn't require wires, that can map out a place within your space so that you don't crash into things. In the past, you needed an $800, you needed a minimum $800 computer plus a $400 website plus a 12-foot cable and a bunch of like poles with like
Dude,
it was a whole setup. I mean,
I'm
I remember
because I right away think of those social media gifs and videos of like the older generation putting one of these on and then freaking out because they can't realize what's real or
they
fake.
can't wrap their head around it, right? Yeah, so it's wild. But in the past you have those crazy headsets, and it's those crazy headsets, and people are they have all this stuff. So I remember like friends of mine would bring them to conferences to display them. Like they're carrying around a suitcase full of equipment for one headset. And now, I mean, you can actually, for $300, you can get an Oculus Quest 2, which you can draw the space you want to play in. And they're constantly making it better. So what they end up doing is, and the second thing I was going to talk about is refresh rate, right? So if you're a gamer, you know about refresh rates. And the better your refresh rate, the smoother the experience. So in gaming, it's like, okay, if I get that little bit better, maybe I have an advantage over my opponent. In VR, it makes an even bigger difference. And you'll see most of these systems, when Quest first came out, it came out with a 72 frame refresh rate, which means every 72 times refreshing in a minute, it would just consistently refresh that screen. So you constantly see the vertical refresh and you see, boom, all right, here comes, but when you start turning your head side to side quickly, because you're looking from place to place, there's a little bit of a lag.
Yeah, like a glitch lag. Yeah.
So it's just a little bit delayed. And what that does, and that's one of the things, so if you're looking at phone-based VR or you're looking at some of the lower end quality VR systems, people will say, oh, I can't use VR because I get sick. Well, guess what? You get sick because the refresh rate is poor and or because you're in 3DOF and you can't move around the space. So being able to move around the space takes away a lot of that sickness. The other thing is refresh rate. So Quest has actually come up with an update. And I mean, Vive Pro headsets do this too, and they're coming out with their own. They're coming out with a fitness version of a headset, which I think is really cool because VR fitness is becoming a big thing. But it's like a lighter, airier headset you can kind of deal with and not be all sweaty, and not weigh you down while you're doing it. But the new updates for these headsets, so Quest and Vive Pro and things like that, they're running refresh rates at 120, which is almost as good as most monitors and televisions. Like they are really cruising on the refresh rates. It's just about as good as if you were running it on a computer. And so that makes a huge difference. So for those people who think like, oh, I can't use VR, I get sick. Unless you're doing like a space-based VR where you're weightless, and I try to tell people all the time, if this is your first VR experience, don't do like a trip to the space station. Why? Because you probably get sick in space too. Like you can't throw in yourself into a weightless environment and then also have the VR going at the same time. So it is, but if you put yourself in a standard normal environment where you're in control of moving backward and forward, side to side, and the refresh rate's good, so when you move your head, it doesn't cause any issues, you're not going to have that sickness issue that you had for most people. It's one of those big things, like people who get motion sickness on those like rides that move you around and the screen's going. Well, it's because you're not really moving, so it's tricking your brain and you feel awkward. But if you're moving and the world around you moves with you, you lose some of that issue of sickness. So there's a lot of people who can actually benefit and use VR from this now. So you know, there's some really cool things that you can do with that. You know, social VR is you can get in there and have conversations, play games. Like I said, they're using VR for fitness now. Some really cool fitness apps where you get like trainers to work with, and you do your different activities in VR, and they have different workouts, just like you would with like a Peloton or one of things like that. You can do that in VR now with stuff like Supernatural VR and things like that.
And imagine in the K-12 setting, how cool. Talk about intrinsic motivation right from the opening of a door. Imagine if gym classes were done in VR, you know, with that technology that you just talked about, you know, especially in the virtual world with what we just went through in pandemic. You know, being virtual, that is a great way. You know, you're home, boom, drop it, and you know, do it on screen or whatever. That's
and in the past, it was cost prohibitive and tech prohibitive, and there was all kinds of restrictions. And the more and more, it's becoming less and less prohibitive. It's becoming more realistic. You know, and we'll talk other days about you know, mixed reality headsets and things like that, which quite frankly are still cost prohibitive in a lot of ways, but it's coming. It's getting there. And that's the great thing about this technology. And you said like engagement at the K-12 level. I've never, like I taught lessons this week with kids building VR and co-spaces, right? And they, like every kid was just plowing away. Now, not all of them did the assignment exactly the way I asked, but I didn't really care because they were working hard and they were developing. The lesson was on coding, but they pulled through the assignment. They were building Matt's School of Tomorrow. So our colleague, Matt Murray,
awesome.
You know, I had them think about the School of Tomorrow and build out some ideas for what that could look like. And there are some really cool ones. And, you know, I mean, every kid's doing their own, but every kid was engaged and working hard and they were excited about it. Every one of them's thinking to themselves, hey, can I go view this? Like if I have a headset home, can I view this? If I want to view this on my phone, how do I do it? I'm like, all right, well, here's how you do it. And, you know, little by little, they're all totally engrossed in this lesson, digging into it. And it just shows you like these kids are 11, 12 years old. At any age, you can do it. So it's not like, you know, I've worked with 8 and 9-year-olds on this stuff before. So it's definitely something you can have your 10, 11, 12-year-olds doing, and they can start to get into it. And I love that because just like with coding, there's going to be so many applications of this in the next 5 years. And there already is so many applications of it if you look at the business world, but even the consumer world, it's just all over the place now. So
it's exciting. It's really exciting.
It's exciting stuff. So speaking of what's coming down that pipeline,
and being live on the stream right now, you know, pretty exciting that you know, having a platform now that maybe you and I can start geeking out on some of these K-12 coding and AR VR topics and maybe inviting some guests to come and speak with us
Yeah.
and talk about it. And even, I know you and I spoke about the idea of maybe even bringing in some of the younger generation to talk about their perspective. So this is going to be a super, super cool project that we just launched today. So
showcasing some exciting things for
Yeah,
kids and things like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So,
yeah,
I'm fired up about continuing this. It's really exciting. We're gonna start trying to do this on Tuesdays every week.
Yep.
So we can have this going. You guys can check it out, and we'll bring back some excitement. We'll start to bring on some guests pretty soon, whether they be industry guests or they be young people sharing their passion for what they do. Lots of cool things as possibilities here. So,
Absolutely.
speaking of possibilities, I want to share with you guys one more thing,
Yep.
which is what we have coming up next at Princeton Hive in the next few months. So, I'm going to share one more piece with you all. Bring that up, and you guys take a look. So, whether you're watching this live or watching it later on a recording, I'm just going to talk about what's coming up next with Princeton Hive over the next few months, and really share what we've got going on here, because we're excited to bring it to you. So look at what's going to be available. Things are going to be available for you guys starting on Monday. The site will be a new updated site will be there live, where you can book things right there from the calendar. So free XR 1 hour classes, whether we talk about AR or VR, just intro stuff to get you excited about it, get you a taste of what it looks like. They'll start on Mondays around 7. Coding, we're going to have Tuesday classes at 7:30. Design thinking classes will be coming soon. We're just finalizing some of those times and dates. Single day workshops we're going to have in May and June. You can see the dates. And then 3-day workshops where we're going to dig a little deeper into coding and design thinking and XR, coming up again in May and at the end of June. And for those of you out there who are excited about this stuff and want to book your own custom workshop, whether as a potential fundraiser for your group, or something where you have a handful of people that want to learn the same thing and you put a group together, we do custom workshops by request. And starting next week, 6-month courses will be available. They'll be starting, at the first of every month, starting, looks like at the end of at beginning of next month. So lots of exciting things. And then, coming up this summer, we've got some really cool theme camps coming up with coding XR, design thinking, and our G5 Gigpreneur entrepreneurship, based on curiosity and learning to market and sell. So there's some really interesting stuff coming up. School tomorrow, like I was talking about a little bit with project I kind of started with my kids that came from our colleague Matt Murray. Summer camps based on life on Mars, where we're going to run 4 weeks with 4 tracks. You can run it as a month-long experience and get a little bit of everything.
Yep.
And then also smart cities coming in August. We'll do the same thing with tracks and smart cities, and you can test out one or you can do them all. And then finish up the year right before school starts up again with one more shot of school tomorrow, where you can really think about how you want to work into your school year. So again, so many exciting things coming up. We're really, really happy to be able to bring this stuff to you, and looking forward to sharing it all with you over the next few months. As we bring more and more to you from our live content, and as well as those courses, all those courses I was talking about. That's all live instruction. Through virtual live instruction, which means you'll have a teacher. It might be Marcos and myself for like in person. If not, a lot of that content will be developed. It's been developed by Marcos and myself, as well as other experts in our industries. So we're looking forward to sharing this stuff with you. Like I said, it's big passion for both of us, and we are very excited. Go ahead, Marcos.
You know what the best part of it? It's just the beginning. Like we're just starting this up. We are really, really looking to expand this and create a global community around this. These 21st century skills and hives. We have some amazing hives in the Princeton Hive. They are all essential as far as 21st century skills and opportunities. Again, we have the Gigapreneur Hive, the Design Hive, the XR VR Hive, Coding Hive. Amazing content that can really give you skills that are needed for the future. So we are super, super excited for all of this. And even I'm getting more and more excited, even just to be running these live casts every week, just to talk about topics and bring some light to some real educational topics that are essential for our future.
Yeah, and to share with people, especially young people. The more young people, the better. And people have questions or comments.
Totally.
Like, one of the things I love about this format is you can ask your questions live while we're talking here. You can always reach out to us later on if you have questions about what we're doing at Princeton Hive or just in general. But the the excitement here is that you can ask your questions to us. We can answer them right here on the stream, and I can't wait to bring more of this stuff to everybody. It's exciting, it's fun, and we're really happy to be bringing this to you. Looking forward to bringing some guests on to talk about what we do. And Marcus and I have the opportunity to share some pretty exciting industry leaders with you over the next couple months. So thanks everybody who tuned in. Thanks everybody who's watching this on the replay. Look forward to seeing you guys again. We're going to do this again next week on Tuesday, live at 7:00 with the HiveLive. And we'll catch you guys next week. So see you in the Hive, everyone. And
have a great
wonderful night.
We'll see you next
week.
Thanks
for joining us.
Bye.